Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Soul Food Poetry Night. I'm Michael Dillon Welch, and almost 8 years ago, we started this monthly extravaganza for poetry, and I'm pleased that Tanya McDonald is helping me curate this reading series. And tonight we have something special that we've never done in this series before. Instead of our usual 2 featured readers, we are featuring an entire group. And the group is Haiku Northwest, which has just published this new anthology called No Longer Strangers, which celebrates 25 years of the organization's history. And we'll hear more from that book this evening. It is also National Haiku Poetry Day, which happens to fall on the night we're having our reading. So it's a good fit. So across the nation, through the Haiku Foundation and other organizations, there are many haiku enthusiasts that are putting on activities and events around the country, and it's nice to be part of that activity here. Also, we're being streamed live on the internet, so everybody can wave to the people on the internet who are watching. They'll get to hear us, if not see us. At least the camera is focused up here. Maybe it'll pan over you too. We have a lot to get through tonight. We have a number of contributors from the anthology who are reading, and there will be a little bit of logistics as people try and wiggle their way past chairs to get up front, so we might have to clear a path or two. Keep that in mind. Excuse me. We will also have a little bit of music. There's also the open mic reading. We have a sign up for the open mic on this table if you'd like to participate in that after the break. We will take a break after all of our featured readers are done. And I think we're going to have a lot of fun. I'd like to begin by reading a poem by Judith Wright, and it's called Brevity. Old rhythm, old meter. These days, I don't draw very deep breaths. There isn't much left to say. Rhyme, my old symbol. I don't clash you as often or trust your old promises of music and unison. I used to love Keats, Blake. Now I try haiku for its honed brevities, its inclusive silences. Isa, Shiki, Busan, Basho. Few words and with no rhetoric, enclosed by silence, as is the thrush's call. It's Brevity by Judith Wright. To begin our evening tonight, Stuart Zobel is going to play a song for us.
Song from Brazil, probably from the 1930s. It's an instrumental tune, and it's called Araponga, and it's kind of a bird. And I'm not sure what the English, if there is an English name for the bird, but it has a peculiar call to it. It sounds very mechanical, very strange, kind of like. I was looking on YouTube for different recordings of the song, and I came up on some recordings of people that had actually recorded the bird, and I was shocked when I when I heard what it sounded like. So anyway, this is Araponga by Luis Gonzaga.
Thank you, Stuart. And we'll hear again from Stuart. He's one of our haiku contributors in the anthology. Haiku Northwest was founded in 1988 by Francine Porad, who lived on Mercer Island. She passed away in 2006. And she created an organization that was very social and in its passion for haiku. And we have here tonight Connie Hutchison, who is one of I think the only person present here who was there when the organization began. And we'll also hear from her. She has also contributed an extensive history of the organization that's in the book. The book has three main parts: a selection of haiku, senyu, and haibun, which is prose with haiku. Excuse me. Followed by her history article, and then after that is a selection of memorial poems by members of the Haiku Northwest group who have passed on. And tonight, I've got a sign-up of people who are present whose work is in the book, and this will be an instruction to those of you who haven't yet heard this. You each have 3 minutes, up to 3 minutes, to read your haiku from the anthology. You're welcome to read additional haiku if you like, and also read in order the poets who are in the memorial section. And I will start, so I will read the first memorial poet in the book as well. And you can read them in any order, like you can put the memorial first or your own poems first, however you want to do that. We'll have a buzzer that goes off if you're over 3 minutes or something, or we'll squirt you with a water pistol or something. Sorry? Yes, we'll do this. So we do have a lot to get through. I'll begin by reading my work, and unlike everyone else, I haven't put my finger on the page number yet. Here we go. Her first report card. A row of plum trees beginning to pink. And that's for my daughter, Sarah, who I had to take to the doctor this morning. Fading light. I pop a kelp bladder for my absent son. And that's for my son, Thomas, who I took to the doctor yesterday. He has pneumonia. A change of tides. The rowboat aground in a different place. And that's written about Seebeck, where Haiku Northwest has its annual haiku retreat weekend, which we always enjoy. And you're welcome to join us anytime. And 2 poems from the memorial section. These poems are by Nasira Alma. Carrying firewood to the house. Winter in every breath. Breath barely visible. Under the dawn moon, white mushrooms. And I'll also share a few more of my own. I'll try and do this from memory. Meteor shower. A gentle wave wets our sandals. An old woolen sweater taken yarn by yarn from the snowbank. After the quake, the weather vane pointing to earth. Our question of the month, this month, I've also asked our featured readers to answer it. It is, name something you'd still like to do in life, something on your bucket list. And for me, I wrote down to visit Easter Island. Coming up to read next is someone who would like to learn to salsa dance. And that is my co-curator in crime, Tanya McDonald.
Which is very tempting to learn how to do when Stuart's playing that music. So, oh well, I'll just stand on tiptoes. Alrighty. First, I'll read my 3, and then Memorial 3, and I'll hide behind here so Michael can't take a picture of me. Top of the Space Needle. How it feels to spot a whale. Fresh gingerbread. I reread my sister's coming out letter. Log truck. An evergreen air freshener on the rearview mirror. All right, from the memorial section, here are a couple from Mimi Call. Sunflower fading. A shower of gold falls on the leaf below. Costa Rica at midnight, you can hear the earth breathing. Bear with me while I skim through here for a moment. Alrighty. Ruth's not here tonight, I don't think, so I'm going to read Ruth's poems. This is by Ruth Yarrow, who lives in Seattle. Sun blazes the river. For a moment, the swallow, lost in light. Gull overhead. The missing feather lets through a lighter gray. Each minnow's shadow loose on the lake bottom. Only mine attached. Thank you.
And I should mention that Tanya is one of the editors of this anthology. So thank you to Tanya. Next up, we have Connie Hutchison, as I mentioned, the only person present here who has been through the entire history of the organization. And I don't know if you want to give us a summary of the history. Okay, she's shaking her head. You can buy the book. She knows how to be commercial. The book, we have copies available here for $15. And Angie, who's wearing the orange that matches the cover of the book, can help you out with sales. And Connie's answer to the question of a bucket list thing is to hunt native art in Prince Rupert. Please welcome Connie Hutchison.
You'll recognize the reference in this haiku that it takes place in Volunteer Park. Needle in the eye of Noguchi's black sun, only from this spot. Each stone's mass pulling the sand raker into orbit. That was at the Bloedel Garden on the Bloedel Reserve. This is for my grandson Calder when he was very young. Nap time quiet. The baby finds lint between his toes. From the memorial section, I'd like to read 2 poems by Wilma Irwin. Darkening path, the white morning glories lead the way. Full spring moon, we can't stop dancing on the tennis court. And I'd like to read 2 of mine. Annual recital, the antique clock on the beat with Mozart. And this poem was for Francine. Her love of color, geraniums and lipstick, the same red. And next we have Winnie Yeager, who is our special guest tonight. We used to meet in Winnie's home in Kirkland occasionally. Winnie. So here's the mic. Okay, ready? Yes, I got it. Okay, can you step up? Right here. There you go.
Let me get past this.
Oh,
Can I
wait a
be on
minute.
the other side?
Wait a minute.
Can it be on the other side of it? I'm a little unsteady on my evening. Need dinner. Large plates. Small talk. June night, I lie awake till birds sing.
Okay, then did you want to read one from the memorial section?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
Okay, I thought I had marked that.
I don't know what's in here. This is in the new book, which you will probably all be getting or have already. God, where is it? J. Geltzer, 1943 to 2012.
Right here.
The crows. Oh, I'm sorry. Twilight. The crows outlast the gardener. Across the room, the smile. The same smile.
Very nice.
Thank you.
You just never know who's going to get on the stage next here. Alrighty. Up next, someone who would like to see a game in Fenway Park. Michelle Schaefer, come on up.
Good evening. I'd like to say thank you to my support group for showing up tonight for me. It's very nice. Tennis backspin. My son asked me about girls. Hospital window. The traffic at both ends of the day. And this next one is from a camping trip that I took a while ago. The Big Dipper, no matter where I stand, mountain sky. Okay. I have Robert Gibson, 1923 to 2003. Sometimes after, in the emptiness, Nirvana. Porch swing. Now and then a breeze from the river. And if nobody objects, I'd like to read Diane Garcia's since she's not here. Is that all right? Okay. Rising autumn wind. A raven's shadow breaks apart. And his birth father's name on the urn, the aspen's shadow. Thank you.
And Michelle is one of the editors of the book as well. And our next reader is also one of the editors who would like to spend time in Kyoto. And she's actually got a trip planned there for a year from now. This is Angela Terry.
Yeah, well, this isn't going to work. Okay. Trying to name the color of the sun, yellow peony. fast-flowing river, no time left for half-truths. Our power to name things, common merganser. I have one to read from the memorial section for Nixie and Seville Handy. Salt of tears on the tongue, no answers. And if you'll bear with me, I'd like to read 3 other of my haiku that I'm kind of fond of. Flood tide, watching the sun reclaim the sky. How differently we see the sky, blue morpho. And the last one, apple blossoms, the song of a spring river rising. Thank you.
Now people can't hide under it as well. All right, up next we have yet another editor. We had a number of editors on this just to try to, we had a lot of, 25 years is a lot of time to cover. So 4 editors, was that how many we had? I think that's how many we had. Plus Connie, and then plus other people helping out. Yes, so it was a big group effort. Up next we have Marilyn Sandal. Put away your camera, Marilyn. Who would like to hike the Pacific Coast Trail partway.
Up here. Let me get back to here. I have sound effects with this. Morning mist. Wind shifts the mountain peak. Get over here. Nest hole. Waiting a wren moment before it reappears. Winter apple, a hint of vinegar. And, just a moment here. How far did we get? I was taking photos, so I was listening. 1:15, okay, thank you. This is Lorraine Ellis Haar. An owl hoots darkness down the... An owl hoots darkness down from the hollow oak. The sparkler goes out, and with it, the face of the child.
One of the real thrills of this book for me is the cover. And we're very privileged to have the artist with us, who's also a contributor of poetry to the book, and that is Deja Léger. And she's brought some of her paper cut art to show us what the cover was based on. And she's going to tell us a little bit about her artwork and how we got to this cover.
There we go. I was just realizing something as I walked in. Actually, I made this skirt. This is a non sequitur, but I'll pull back around. I made this skirt for this event, and I got so excited that I pulled up here and I realized I forgot to hem it. And and I think it's kind of like a haiku. Like, you have to imagine the hem. Just finish it in your mind for me. Pretend that it's a complete skirt. Okay, so I did the art for this cover, and I do paper cut I'm a graphic artist by trade, and for the majority of my work, I do paper cuts. It's a little hard to see, but here. Yeah, all right. Here, I'll put it over here so you can see it in a different light. It's just black construction paper that I've cut with an X-Acto knife, And I'll leave it on either here or the piano bench. You're welcome to come up, take a peek, look at it, pick it up. And for me, it just represented the strangers meeting, kind of like that, the happenstance of jellyfish moving in the sea really echoed for me. And so I kind of kept with the Pacific Northwest animal of the ocean theme. And then I'll leave these up too. These were some of the smaller inserts, which were smaller paper cuts. Again, I think with the glare, you're not really going to be able to see them as much, but like I said, I'll leave them out and you can take a peek, pick them up. To get the color, I scanned them into a digital format and colored them digitally by hand, as much as by hand as you can do on a computer. So feel free to, like I said, come up, peek around. And that's all I have to say about the art, unless there's really quick questions. No? Cool. All right, thanks.
Our next reader is Scott Galasso, and he has a very interesting item on his bucket list. To inspire one person who never wrote to tell their own story, which I love. I love that idea. Scott Galasso.
Well, as you can see, haiku poets come in all shapes and sizes. And it reminds me of something somebody once asked Abraham Lincoln, how tall a man should be. And his answer was, long enough for his feet to reach the ground. So I'm going to start off with 3 of my own. Sidewalk Cafe. Her love life, lousy. Now we all know. Rain smacks the hotel's awning. Separate cabs. Numbers on his arm. A grandchild asks how he got them. And I'm going to read a couple from Helen Ronan Jameson, 1922 to 2002. On the wet sand, bird print calligraphy, flourishes of seaweed. Dusk on the lake, fish keep jumping where they were. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. My goodness, you're so short now. The mic hasn't changed. It's amazing. I didn't know I was so tall today. Alrighty, up next we have Roy Kindleberger, whose goal is to publish another book. And I'd like to point out the word another there, which makes me very jealous.
Hi. A robin sings. Outside my window, I closed my laptop. Another shot into the circular file. Revisions. This is my favorite. The record player skips at the end. Mourning doves coo. And if you could help me with this last name, I'm going to try it though, okay? George Klazansky? Okay. 1956 to 2003. Let's see if okay. Empty elevator. One purple sock. Dead loon on the beach. Its head nods as each wave comes and goes. I'll do 2 of mine. I think this one came with the other record one came afterward. The organ riff rolls over in my head, replays the record. Looking out over the jagged cliff, a child's dropped ice cream. Thanks.
Thank you, Roy. Next, we have someone who would like to visit the volcanoes of Iceland. Please welcome Curtis Manley.
Close enough to touch, I let the junco lead me away from its nest. Dentist's obituary, common interests we could never talk about. Rushing stream, my daughter asks to take the steeper trail. And I'll read from the memorial section, Elizabeth Kusuda. Soft greens and cherries full bloom, but peace? And then I'll have a few more of my own. Rescuing the dragonfly, its sudden bite. After my cough, the cat's eyes slowly closing. Window open a crack, the cat's nose. Thank you.
Thank you, Curtis. All right, up next we have someone who's come all the way from South Sound tonight. We have a few people from the Commencement Bay Haiku Group, which started how many years ago did you guys start up? About 2 years ago. So we have the Haiku Northwest region right now that meets, that's East Side in Seattle, and there are various other regions around the state. So they're they're representing the South Sound region tonight. So up next we have Jute Schroed, whose desire is to swim with dolphins that are not in captivity, Key West, Florida. That sounds awesome.
Well, I'm sure this is character building because I haven't done it before. Okay. I'll read mine. Alone, a cherry petal settles in the other chair. Young fingers run up and down the keyboard. Baseball glove. Spring sunshine, sound of the wind chimes, little glass stars. And let's see, one of them reminded me of an old one of mine that I'll just say one of that was done, and it's spring, so I think I can remember it. It's blue puddles scatter the path, can't help dancing. Okay, and the memoriam is Robert Major. Among the great stones set to defend the castle, young ferns take refuge. Silent friends meeting, the sound of chairs being moved to enlarge the circle. And those dolphins is so cool because there's one place, where they're trained a lot. A lot of times they're trained dolphins, but this is a whole different thing. They're free to go out and come in, and they come in to play with the people. They choose their part. They choose who they want to play with. And what was I going to say? They're studying. They're not teaching the dolphins things. They're studying the dolphin's natural way of interacting with humans. And I think it just sounds so cool. Okay.
Thank you. Next up, we have another visitor from the South Sound, from the Commencement Bay Haiku Group. This is Carmen Sturba, and her bucket list wish is to visit her relatives in the Czech Republic. Carmen Sturba.
Lapping shore water, the things we take for granted. The next one is from a haibun about Buddhist nuns in Kamakura, Japan. Sound of sweeping. Sunbeams appear between the pines. The third one is something from my job. I help manage a tutoring center, and this is the haiku. Forgotten words. We brush eraser bits off the table. Okay, the person in the memorial is Munio Makuuchi. Okay, 1934 to 2000. Ah, spring comes, blades of grass, poems, and ourselves grow of themselves. And I just wanted to mention something about the trip to the Czech Republic. In 1996, I went to the Czech Republic and I didn't know anybody there. And I talked to one person, I think, because hardly anybody spoke English at that time. And 2 years ago, I got a call from the Czechoslovakian Association of Washington State, and they said, "Is your grandfather's name Jim?" And I said, well, he had several names. One was Vaclav. And then they said, "Is your father's name Walter?" And I said, yes. And it was a roots moment. And in the last 2 years, I've kept in touch by email and Facebook with cousins in the Czech Republic. And so I'm invited to stay with them next time I go. And so that is one thing I really want to do. Thank you.
That would be very, very cool. Neat to make that connection. Alrighty, up next, someone who wants to go to, not the Czech Republic, but Norway. Deja Leger.
Ja, jeg vil gjerne reise til Norge. All right. Now you don't have to think about it so hard. All right. The dancers turn a star in the cedar barn, winter solstice. Sketching the sapling I will never see grown, the quiet woods. Late start, my girls retwine the tendrils of the wind-blown peas. From Anne McKay. Pale fingers polishing her days, a scent of lemon lingering. And the pears we waited for, ripening too late by too thin sun.
Thank you. And now we go back to our musician who opened our evening for us, Stuart Zobel, and he would like to go on a music tour. Well, it started right here.
On worn ivory, nicotine fingers play for the barmaid. At the edge of the Milky Way, he trades his gavel for clown shoes. We talk on the sofa, becoming a Rorschach to our friends. And I lost track. Where are we? Anne McKay was... Oh, I got it. So I'm going to read a few from John Platt, 1925 to 2001. Lily pads float, cradled in water, on the edge of air. Lilac swaying on the early morning breeze, the taste of purple. Thanks.
See, now I have someone else who has something about publishing that makes me wish that that's what I'd put, but I decided I'd be different with mine. So up next, someone who would like to publish her writing, and I would love to read the writing once she publishes it. Taryn Campbell.
Connie, did you read the ones by Francine that are in here? No. Okay. Writing workshop. Her keyboard clicks. Enter my poem. Night ferry ride. Stars brighter than iPods. Wood grain of the door. Suddenly, a forest grove inside my room. Stuart, did you read Flat? Okay. And these are more Francine Perraud's. Vacation's end. I learn by heart the cloudless blue. Birdhouse empty of seed. Even the jays look for Bernard. And this is a haibun, which is actually about Holy Thursday, which is what tonight is, which is very appropriate in this place. It is the last week of Lent. I find myself in a cathedral celebrating my favorite Christian ritual. 2,000 years ago, a heretic rabbi called his friends together. On that night, they broke bread and shared their last meal. Twilight Mass, bird song accompanies the choir. He knew that one of his friends was going to betray him to the ruling priesthood and the occupying forces that had conquered his homeland.